More and more people are getting into Bitcoin and crypto every single day. Are you one of those new people? Are you new into this sphere? Perhaps you're worried about doing something that might screw it all up for you. This video is going to take a look at some of the beginner mistakes that you and everyone else can make when getting into Bitcoin and crypto. If you know the pitfalls before you reach them, then you can more expertly dodge them and not wind up in trouble for your investments. These are all only a small collection of examples, but it might get you thinking about others. And remember that this has happened to everybody. But before we get started, I just want to remind you to please subscribe for more great videos about Bitcoin. Thank you. Probably the most important trap you can fall into is security. You must always remember to use the same amount of diligence as you would for any other internet activity. There are tons of nefarious people out there that would love to steal your Bitcoin from you. Remember when you created your wallet and you got a multi-word seed phrase, for example? Never, ever, 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 ever share that with anyone. Write it down in a safe space. That seed phrase is how someone can access your wallet from anywhere, anytime. They don't need any other information, so don't share it. Also, with security, don't fall for traps that sound too good to be true. For example, you might have heard over the past few weeks about something called BitConnect. It promised a huge return on your Bitcoin if you invested it, but in reality, it was just a massive Ponzi scheme. If something promises you a 100% or something similar return on your Bitcoin, don't do it. You will probably never see that Bitcoin again. Another item about security, don't keep your Bitcoin on a custodial wallet or exchange. When you buy your Bitcoin, make sure to transfer them to another wallet immediately. Unfortunately, if you keep your Bitcoin on an exchange, you honestly don't own that Bitcoin because you don't have access to the private keys that secure the Bitcoin. This puts them at risk for hackers, and unfortunately there's been plenty of stories about hackers hacking into exchange wallets and making off with a boatload of Bitcoin. Move that Bitcoin into a secure location as soon as possible, like your own software wallet, like Electrum, or even better, a hardware wallet. And speaking of exchanges, when purchasing, make sure to pay attention to where you're buying and selling and what fees and what the spread you might see is. Some exchanges use a spread rather than a fee, and that is when they bump up up or down the price of Bitcoin on their website to make a profit rather than charging you a fee. The problem is some websites have some terrible spreads, and some even have different spreads just within their own ecosystem. For example, this is one that I fell for myself just a few months ago. I once sold some Bitcoin on the Kraken app rather than the Kraken website, and I ended up paying a lot more money because of the spread. It was not worth it. Another thing is, don't use the same address to receive Bitcoin all the time. This detracts from your privacy. Instead, use a different address every time you receive or are requesting Bitcoin from someone. That way, nefarious people can't track how much Bitcoin you have in your wallet and how much you're getting in transactions. I made a video on this subject that I'll link down below, especially if you're doing for a business. Finally, if you're sending Bitcoin to someone, make sure you have enough money for the transaction fees so that the Bitcoin actually gets sent in a timely manner. Too many new people skimp on the transaction fees, which can then cause the transaction to be clogged on the blockchain. This doesn't mean don't go overboard and charge way too much, but just pay attention to how much you're putting down. These are just some examples of beginner mistakes regarding Bitcoin. And these are some mistakes that all of us, anybody in Bitcoin, has made, including me, as I pointed out. But now that you know a few of them, that might help you going forward to allow you to have a fun and profitable experience getting into Bitcoin. So go out there, invest, and enjoy that Bitcoin. Thank you for watching.